Welcome to part 2 of our P&O Aurora cruise to Rotterdam. In this video, we sail in early to Rotterdam. We explore the city, visit the Markthal, visit the pub on land and at sea. Then we sail away from Rotterdam. We have dinner at Sindhu. And finally, we dock back at Southampton. I got up around 5 in the morning to watch us sail into Rotterdam. And I'm really glad I did, as the beautiful pre-dawn views were well worth the effort. I've actually done a separate video of the highlights of the sail-in, which I'll post on this channel. Once we'd docked, I headed back to bed for a few more hours of much needed sleep. We got up mid-morning and went for a coffee and a very tasty chocolate muffin. And then we headed off the ship into the Rotterdam cruise terminal. Don't forget to bring your passport ashore, as you could be checked going back on. They were doing random checks. Out on the street, we caught a glimpse of the ship through the buildings. So we walked round behind to take some pictures and some video. After that, we checked out some of the cool buildings around the port. And then headed across the Erasmus Bridge, where we couldn't resist a couple of selfie moments. We paused to have a look at the water bus, which was doing circles near the Aurora. And also these folks rowing past in their little boat. Then we took a walk along the far bank. Where we got some nice views of the ship, and also saw this cute little harbour, which had one of the many water taxi stops at it. These appear to be the easiest and cheapest way of getting around this part of the city. After admiring some of these boats, we moved on. Pausing to film one of the taxis pulling into the stop we were just at. And then we stopped for a look at the Vizier Monument, which is a reminder of boys and men being deported during the war. We then passed through a really well kept park. Headed up past some really nice houses and a heron, towards the city centre. On the way, we passed through the Maritime Museum. And got some really nice pics and video of some of the ships and equipment displayed there. This beautiful lightship, V11, has been converted into a British gastropub. We didn't stop for lunch as we weren't hungry yet, but it looks well worth a visit next time we're here. They also rent out these really cool little hot tub boats. Next point of interest was this really grand church. So we crossed the canal and had a closer look at the statue of Erasmus and the Laurenskirk. Just past this, we spotted the Markthal, which was on our list of places we wanted to visit. so we headed inside. It's a really cool place with some awesome artwork on the ceilings and walls. First off, we bought some Dimsum and Bao Buns. Which were slightly disappointing and quite oily. And we followed these with some Poffertjes, which were sweet and very tasty. The hall was absolutely packed. So we decided to head out the far side. And out there we caught a glimpse of the famous cube houses. And also this really funky statue, which commemorates a Rotterdam-born comic book artist, Markthal. Everywhere you look in Rotterdam, there's fascinating buildings, statues and artwork. And it's definitely some place we plan to come back and explore more. Heading back to the ship, we decided to stop in this awesome little bar, the Beer Boutique, where we tried some local beers, which were very strong and very tasty. We also had some really tasty snacks, the bitterballen and the Rotterdam cheese with pickles and mustard. Feeling refreshed and happy, we headed back across the Erasmus Bridge. Pausing to watch some of the speeding water taxis racing past us. And after chilling in our cabin for a bit, we headed down to the main dining room for dinner. For a starter, I had spiced parsnip soup, and Suze had deep fried camembert. For mains, we both had the slow roast pork, and for dessert, we both had the white chocolate parfait. Again, it was a tasty dinner. We had a brief stroll on deck to walk off some of the food we'd eaten. Then went for a drink in the glass house. Then we went along to the onboard theatre to watch the show, which was called Applause. We both really enjoyed this. The singers and dancers in the showcast were fantastic. And the whole show, which was themed around award shows, with the Les Miserables finale, was very entertaining. We decided on a quick nightcap in Anderson's. And then we headed out on deck for a last look around the port before heading to bed. The next morning we were up late again, and after a quick coffee at Raffles Coffee Bar, we headed up to Lido Grill for a brunch hot dog. Then we decided to explore the rest of the ship and took a lift down to Deck 7. We had a look at the art for sale gallery. Some of it we really liked, some of it we didn't, but we didn't buy anything on this trip. From there, we walked through Masquerades, as it's been too busy to film in the evenings. This is normally a buzzing entertainment venue, with quizzes, enrichment talks, singing, dancing, and a late night club. We poked our heads out on deck to check out the weather, which was significantly worse than yesterday. And we watched some of the boats sailing past us. As it was now approaching midday, we didn't feel too bad about grabbing a drink in Champions, the onboard pub. This is a great place for watching sports or just having a chat, but it can be quite hard finding a seat. And from there we popped through quickly to film Carmen's, as it's been packed every time we've been in here. On this cruise at least, they've had dance lessons, bingo, and lots of live music and singers. We noticed the ship was now leaving the dock, so went up on deck to film a rather rainy sail away, which included a very impressive 180-degree turn in the river. As the rain was picking up, we headed downstairs to the prom deck to find some cover, and watched the boats and ships sailing past us upriver as we sailed down towards the Hook of Holland. At the hook, we passed these very fancy beach huts, which I'm sure look a lot more inviting on a nice summer's day. And from there, we sailed out into the North Sea. And we headed inside to the buffet for a nice warm coffee. We headed back to our cabin and changed for dinner. We were dining earlier tonight as we had a booking at Sindhu, the onboard Indian restaurant. There is a surcharge for this, but you just pay for the items you order off the menu. We were started off with mini Poffertjes and some mixed pickles, which were a very tasty way to start the meal. For a starter, I had the gosht murtabak, which is spiced beef flatbread. And Suze had dakshin merg tikka, or grilled chicken. For mains, I had the thatakada duck roast, and we had rice, dal, spiced veg and Indian breads to share, and Suze had the Sindhu signature plate of 3 curries. For dessert, I had a rather chewy chili chocolate tart. And Suze had the melting dark chocolate sphere, which took a lot of chocolate to melt it. Overall, the meal wasn't perfect. The dal and the breads were quite disappointing. But the service was fantastic, and we really enjoyed most of the food. And it was great value, especially if you booked before boarding, because you saved 20% on the food. Full of food, we popped back to the cabin for 10 minutes and promptly fell asleep. The next morning, we were up early. And went out on deck to watch the ship dock at Southampton. We went back for our bags and took a last look around what's been a really nice, cosy cabin. Then headed out to join the other folks waiting to self-disembark like us. This was quick and easy, and after passing through the baggage hall, we caught an Uber back to the Eastgate car park where we'd parked the car, paid our £29 bill for the 5 nights parking, and took a long, wet drive back to Scotland. We had a great time on our second P&O cruise, much like the first to be fair. The staff were very good, we never had to wait to get served, even on a really busy ship in busy bars. The food was absolutely fine for the price we paid, as were the drinks, and the entertainment was plentiful and good, even on a 4-night cruise. Thanks for watching, we hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel, we'd be very grateful.